Recording has started. So pause.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for joining in. Feel comfortable to keep your videos on, off, whatever works for you is totally fine. Use the chat box to interact with me. I have the chat box open next to me. So if there are any questions that I'm asking and I'm requesting you to respond, you can use the chat box, totally fine, so that it does not disrupt our flow as well. The topic we are discussing today is fairly simple: how to market your life coaching business. The reason why I have taken this topic is that I have spent about 12 years in corporate and 8 years in startups doing pretty much designing how to market businesses and then turning those businesses around. So I hope we can all take away something from today's discussion. I'm just going to jump right into it. Give me a moment. I hope the screen is visible. Yep, okay. Hang on, I'm missing the chat box. Okay, got it. Got it. Right, so here we go. We'll go back to the basics when it comes to marketing a business, right? Everyone's heard of Philip Kotler, obviously, the father of modern marketing. He's given us the 4 Ps, and honestly, back to basics is the best way for any business to start, right? We have product, pricing, place, and promotion. And if we get these 4 Ps drawn out correctly, we are good to go for any product or service, right? And the most important P, which is the product, is what we'll talk about first, right? When it comes to a life coaching business, what is the product? You guys can type on the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box, but what is the product, right? What are you marketing or looking to market when it comes to life coaching? Solution to personal challenges, says Balaji. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Areas of impact, your experience in dealing with people's skills. Yeah, sure. So, I mean, these are really interesting POVs. Value addition to customers' needs, anything and everything, blocking, sure, transformation. So very interesting point of views. But when you actually strain all these thoughts and you bring them and boil them down to one thought, actually, in a life coaching business, in a life coaching service, it is your story or you that is what you are putting out there, right? It is your personal story that makes it so unique, and your personal journey that will connect and engage. And I'm, in fact, to, kind of make this more clear, we can actually maybe pick up someone's story from somebody here, and we can see how to make it more marketable. Honestly, stories is all that people connect with. Stories is what we remember when we go to sleep. Stories is what sells, and stories are what are memorable, right? So if we have a personal story or a personal journey in life coaching, right, we are the product, and our story is what we are marketing. Then how do we market it? Like, is anybody here on the on this chat who hasn't marketed their business yet, or is not happy with how they've marketed it so far and wants to share why they became a life coach, right? You need to ask yourself the question that, why am I doing life coaching, and what's my journey? What's my story that's got me here today? Anyone wants to talk about it? Anyone wants to say why they became a life coach? Go ahead, Balaji.
Yeah, happy morning to all.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for giving the opportunity. I really feel blessed to have this today's session. And why I want to become a coach, because everyone's life is very unique. This is the understanding I just in my life journey I understood. Everyone is very unique. They are thinking it's a much complex. Or they're thinking whatever the thought process is working it out. If we keenly follow that one, the life is happening the same way. This is what I understood. So
Hmm.
I've now realized that I was much happy when I'm seeing that I'm helping someone. If they achieve something, I feel so much happy than which I'm getting more salary. So I felt it most of the time. From my childhood self, teenage self, people will say that I want to spend time with you. Can I have a coffee with you? Something I was very spent some lonely time. I was realized my self realization. I understood that what is my innate nature. So my innate nature, I identify that one. So best suits for the coach. I want to help the people, not for making money. This is my passion for my happiness. Money is my byproduct. The core intention is to I want to help for the person who is looking for some solutions, what I can give from my learnings, from my experiences. So already I started giving offline coachings to students and all, to helping them to take a
Sure.
decisions. So now I want to reach to more people. So I'm not good at market. I'm a good coach, but I'm not a
Sure.
marketer. So I need a
So
marketing.
here we go, Balaji, right? So
Yeah,
what I'm hearing is that
yeah,
you experience some transformation in your life
yeah,
and you want to share that transformation with as many people as you can reach,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now, in order to make this story marketable, what you will need to do is pick out one or two powerful transformation experiences, either yours or somebody you have coached, and talk about that, and write about it, talk about it, podcast about it, whichever way you'd like to spread the word. But you will need to pick very specific experiences. While I understand that we all feel that there are transformations that we went through ourselves when we became life coaches, and we're helping, or I won't even say helping, I'll say supporting our conversation partners in achieving their transformations. But pick out one story. My point is that uh, it's instead of an example, a generic example that, okay, we help transform lives, if there's a specific story of a life that is actually transformed, that's going to stick with people. So I hope you're getting what I mean, right? It's the same thought. It needs to be presented as a story, because stories is what people actually take away with them, right? And
yep,
so that's the starting point. I mean, I would highly encourage everyone to answer this question for yourself: why am I a life coach? And once you have come to some understanding of why you have chosen this particular journey, if you're able to pinpoint to one or two powerful stories and talk about those stories, that's a great starting point for the product, right? Once we have that.
Namita,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. Can you share your example that why you become a life coach? What is the story behind it?
Yeah, sure, sure. I definitely can do that. So for me, the transformation into a life coach from a, hardcore corporate and startup career person was spiritual. It was about life coaching coming to me rather than me going to life coaching. When I started my spiritual journey, it sort of straight led me into life coaching. And here I am. I've just started experimenting with it. I'm totally enjoying it so far, so good. So my journey has been a spiritual pull.
So can you elaborate? Because what I am witnessing right now is the outcome of things. Okay.
Hmm,
Could you
hmm.
elaborate a little more what was going inside you when you started walking on this path?
So when I say it was spiritual, I had taken up a course of inner engineering with Sadhguru, and that kind of opened my mind up to, I'd say, more possibilities, right? Up to that point, I was a straight line career girl with, I got to do my MBA, my CS, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do a job, and then I'm going to do my own business. And I was on path with that. My mind opened up to further possibilities when I did inner engineering. And I felt like nothing was enough. And I needed more and more and more. And I kept exploring and reading for options of what is the more that I can do. And that's when I literally, it was almost like the course found me. Uh,
Hmm.
And I decided to do it because I thought, okay, I'm going to keep this option for retirement. And when I retire at 50 and 55, this is what I want to do. So I said, let me learn, let me study it, and then I'm going to use it later, 15 years hence. But when I started studying it, I got so attracted. It was like a magnet. And since then, I've just been practicing and learning all the while, and it's been great. But everyone's story, like for me, the storytelling is that it is spiritual, and it reflects in everything I do. In every session I do, it reflects in the life coaching model that I have created. It reflects in all my practice. But everyone's story is unique and personal. My point is that your personal story, there's nothing more marketable than your personal story. So don't feel shy to market your story, which is why the question of why did you become a life coach? What has made you and what has brought you here? So
Um,
many of us are
Namita,
very shy to
Namita,
market our story. Yeah.
sorry. If I may ask you, what was the aha moment you felt, hey, this is what I was exactly looking for?
I don't think I'm at the aha moment yet, but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's still learning, right? I'm seeing some chat which says, if a story is not very dramatic, would it work? So for a story, in order for a story to work, it just needs to be real. And which is why your personal journey is what will work. It just needs to be real. It doesn't need to be dramatic. My story is not dramatic at all. And um, is this the same strategy of marketing if you are a career executive coach? Yes. Yes. So you will notice that whenever startups are launched in the market, right, there's always a personal link of the founder or the co-founder to that particular product or service. The reason why that link is there and the reason why we remember that link is because it's real and it's personal, it's story related, right? So do not be shy to share your story. Your story is unique and it's going to connect. If it's real, people will connect with it. It's very, very simple, right? But find your compelling story and tell your story, right? People want to hear stories, people remember stories. Once you have your overall understanding of why you're doing life coaching and what is your story, who are you, who is Vanja, who is Binay, who is Melinda, why are you here and what you're doing, talk about it. If possible, experiment and find your niche. I'm sure Vanja, I'm going to park your comment and I'm going to come back to it in our discussion for sure. Please hold that on. And we are definitely going to address that, right? There's going to be a way to address it, right? Okay. So everyone has experimented with different types of life coaching. I mean, everyone would have dabbled in corporate, personal, women, issue related, pain, so many, right? So many ways to slice and dice the niche. If there is a niche that attracts you, then do more of that. It's not necessary. It's not compulsory. Every space is cluttered. But there is also plenty for all of us to do in all areas. But if you can find your niche, if there is a particular type of coaching that is attracting you, do more of it, because the stories that will come out of there will take you further. If you have a niche, you're going to be good at it. If you don't have a niche, it's totally fine to keep experimenting with all types. Don't feel like you have to pigeonhole yourself at all. But the main takeaway for this product, for what is the product in life coaching, is that the product is you, the story is yours, the journey is yours. Please tell it, and tell it with lots of confidence and lots of passion. Do not feel exposed or ashamed in any way. Honestly, I don't think there is a person living today who, who is born and is dead without any experiences. And the experiences are never going to be just good. There's good and bad. And the way we deal with it is the way we come out of it, right? So tell your story. Talk about your story. I have all the coaches I have come across so far, I will say 9 out of 10 are great coaches who don't want to market themselves, who don't want to talk about their journey, right? Open yourself up to talk about your journey. Okay. I'm going to the second P, which is pricing. I have a question for everybody. And pricing is a very, very dicey P when it comes to developing a product or a service, right? How did you decide what do you want to charge for your service in the market? What did you do? Did you look at other life coaches? Did you think, okay, this is what I was drawing, uh, this is what I was drawing in my previous job, and now I'm a life coach, so this is what I want to charge per hour, this is what I would get paid. How did you price it? How did you decide what you're going to charge? Or did you decide I'm not going to charge? And that's totally fine too, but that is also a price because you are spending time. Even not charging anything has a price. Ruchika, how do you determine what value you bring to the client? Fair enough. Google and market search is good. Free is also, like I said, free is not really free. Free also has a price, right? However, there is no right answer to this pricing, especially for a service like ours. Okay. I might feel $100 an hour is the bare minimum I need. But at that price, what does the client feel? The real question to answer is that, what does the client feel? At what price does your client feel there's value in it? For me, at $100, at $200, at $10, at $50? At what price? Now, this is something that you need to be open to test. Test it with different groups of people who don't overlap. Test a different thing with your office group. Test a different pricing with maybe teenagers. If you're coaching teenagers, test a totally different thing in your friends group. Give it complimentary and then convert it to a paid and see what they are willing to pay. And you need to find a level at which you're comfortable also accepting the price. Because this is a market with absolutely open pricing, you need to test. It's interesting, Manja, to know if the ICF pricing is USD 300 an hour. That's great. Nothing like it. But you also need to look at market forces. You need to see what people are willing to pay. Right? So this is honestly, price is might, but this is totally experimental. Just go out there, test your best price and your lowest price, and I'm sure you will find somewhere in the middle comfort level for yourself and your customer. What will happen is pricing gets driven very highly by customers. And at a certain price, you may not get a response. Just see if you can go up and down and see what response you're getting. It's very, very simple and very easy for all of us to have an Insta page and just test out small campaigns. Just invest $500 a week in the campaign. Test out one campaign at $50 pricing session, $100 pricing session, and just keep everything else identical in the campaign. See where you're getting more response. Okay, pricing needs to be tested in the market, especially for a product like ours, where there is no standard pricing. Yeah, no, it's not impossible at all to get 300 USD per session. I'm sure it's possible to get a lot more. So I don't think we should close our minds where pricing is concerned. Feel free to keep testing. And even after you arrive at the price, readjust it again, because you're not going to be at one price all the time. Okay. I'm going over place now. Okay. Place is, as far as place is concerned in life coaching, if you're conducting online sessions, obviously, you can create a space where you're comfortable speaking and listening, right? But if you are doing physical sessions, you will need to be very, very mindful of customer experience. Guys, when we design customer journey in retail, right from the moment that the first time the customer has interacted with a particular brand, let's say even right at the entrance of a store, from then, how the customer has moved around the store, what has been the experience, billing and exit, right? That entire thing is a customer journey. So if you're conducting physical sessions, you may want to think about, if you're conducting them at home, When the person enters, what is the first interaction? What is the kind of environment you have set up in your discussion room, right? Uh, are you keeping some bottles of water out there? How is the lighting? Walk from the entrance to your room. Are there other people in the household that they will look at? Those people smile back, don't smile back. What are the rules, right? And if it's an office and a corporate setting, again, same thing. Who's greeting the client first? How is the client walking in? How are they being welcomed, right? Think of it like a customer has entered a retail store, and what's the journey from first point of interaction to the exit? So be mindful of the space, whether it's online, whether it's offline. Even if it's online, think about the first time the customers messaged you or blocked time with you. From that moment, have preset messages that will go out to customers when the first time a customer has messaged you or client has messaged you. What is it that you want to say? Do you want to say thank you? Do you want to say what's on your mind? What do you want to say, right? Please have preset messages. The more preset messages you have, the more professional your interaction and outlook is going to be. And it will also limit any, flaky people getting in touch. Because if your approach is professional, people who approach you will keep it professional, right? Okay, here's where I want to spend some time, right? Promotions. Question for everyone. So far, what have you tried for promoting? What platforms have you tried? I mean, online, offline. If it's online, have you tried Instagram, LinkedIn? Yeah, Prashant, LinkedIn is actually a good space. Prashant, have you done paid LinkedIn campaigns, or have you tried just posts and promotions without paying?
I have not tried to paid campaign, but I am more on the post.
You've kept your content up on LinkedIn. That's great. Ruchika, communities. So that's a whole slide, and I want to talk to you more about it for sure when we come to the next slide. Building IG and LinkedIn for sure. Sure. Thanks, Yatish. So Instagram, LinkedIn, Quora, maybe for communities, or some other. Okay. So here's the thing, right? Honestly, I'll tell you, it's really, really easy for any of us to go online or go to ChatGPT, and please use ChatGPT. Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, how do I promote myself on Instagram? And you will have a step-by-step tutorial. All of us can follow it. Very easy to create an Instagram profile, to create content, and to market even. Yeah. I do feel if you find the right audience and the right targeting, it is useful to market on Instagram. There is no doubt about it. Also on LinkedIn. Just a note to everyone, LinkedIn paid promotions are quite expensive. It takes some time for us to actually get value out of it, right? Okay, lots of chat. Sorry, I'm scrolling down, taking a minute. Okay, here we go. So, has anyone tried WhatsApp marketing? Any feedback there? Because honestly, on my do not do slides, I have WhatsApp marketing. Because my experience with WhatsApp marketing was that the quality of leads was really, really, really poor. Okay, so I'm coming back to online marketing now. We'll talk about offline and the big one, community as well, right? So online marketing, very simple. There are 4 or 5 platforms. Please go. Vinay, give me 1 minute. Please go ahead, create your profiles, make a Google business page. Without doubt, make a Google business page. Every single time you conduct a session, free or paid, doesn't matter. Please get a review. Google is the first place anyone goes to check you out. Okay, general people will not go to a LinkedIn or an Insta first. They will first go to Google. So please, everyone who does not have a Google page, please make one today, right? Make a Google business page for yourself, make an Instagram page, make a LinkedIn page for sure. I mean, be present and put your content out there, put your story out there to begin with, right? Put your beliefs and your stories out there. Then when it comes to marketing, it's very, very simple and very easy to market on LinkedIn and on Instagram, self-market. Put in small budgets and test it out. It'll ask you to select who is your audience. So if you are conducting screen addiction session, obviously your audience is going to be younger. If you're conducting something for women, you can target women as well. If you're conducting something which you feel will only work in let's say cities, you can target it by city, by age group. It's very, very self-explanatory and simple. Must try. Okay. However, I will say that it's be more and more effective only after you have created a profile for yourself. Make sure you've put out at least like 70, 80 posts before you start marketing yourself. Because when you market yourself, people will go to your Insta or LinkedIn profile and want to see what you talk about. So there should be something there. Otherwise, it feels like a spam profile, right? Honestly, online, there is really not much for me to talk. There are enough and more tutorials. Just go follow any of them and you'll get there. Okay, just do it. Just do it. It's very, very simple. 70 or 80 posts, Vanja, they're pretty simple and easy to do. And ChatGPT will 70 or 80, I meant, not 7 or 8, sorry. So ChatGPT will tell you how to auto-generate content. Very, very easy. Canva is a very simple tool for all of us to use. Mostly free Canva can be used also to create our posts. So it's just about dedicating 40 minutes, 50 minutes every day to make sure that your content is going out there, right? Your profile is updated, right? All of us can do it, okay? Offline. When it comes to offline marketing, how many of us actually tell people when we meet them with full pride that, listen, I'm a life coach? And how many of us get a question saying, what is a life coach? So I'm really curious to hear, what do you answer to what is a life coach? Because I get this question all the time. How would you know when enough is enough, especially for LinkedIn? So, Ruchika, all of them have algorithms, right? The algorithms are, when would you know? For LinkedIn, I would say at least put out like 10, 15 articles, go on other coaches' profiles, connect with other life coaching organizations, like their post, comment on their post, ask people to comment on your post, get that interaction flowing so that as a layperson, when someone opens your LinkedIn profile based on your promotion, it's not blank, right? It's telling a story about you. Simple as that, right? Vanja, what is the question? I'm sorry if I've missed anything. You want to type the question here? I can try and address it again. Okay. So the question, I haven't found an answer to. Oh, that's a question to, what does a life coach do? I'd really like to hear what you'll answer, because I get this question all the time. What does a life coach do? What is that? What is that? Is it therapy? Are you a therapist? Are you what? Yeah, what is life coaching? Yeah, Vanja. So I get this question all the time. And after getting the question 5, 10 times, I realized that I need to write down the answer. So I wrote down an answer for myself, and I will highly encourage all of you to write down your answer, right? So I believe that it's a partnership, okay, where along with the partner, we are in conversation, and either we are resolving an issue or we are looking forward to resolving a goal choice, or, so I wrote down the exact words I want to say. And I'll highly encourage all of you to do that. Because when someone asks us, because this is such a new profession, it is so, especially in India, by the way, it's really new. People don't know what to expect from a life coach at all. Write down what you think a life coach does and have that answer by hearted. And anytime someone throws a question at you, please say what a life coach does. That's the way to market offline. Meet more people, tell them about your profession. That's the way to go about it, right? The more one-on-one sessions we conduct, the more reviews we take on our Google page, it's better for us. But the big one I want to talk about today is community. And I want to go back to Ruchika, right? Ruchika, you mentioned community is a great way to market. Can you share with us what has been your experience with community?
I hope it's okay to unmute, or would you
Please.
want me to share? Okay. So I actually have been part of a few communities. So I do try to interact in those communities if at all something is on the lines of life coaching that comes up or coaching related themes come up. So I interact accordingly. That is one. And there are specific promotion days that I also used to promote on different themes, how to make the most of coaching sessions, what is it that the story can help you with. So communities are really helpful, but then it also depends on so much information that flows in, because there are 200 people, 300 people, so a lot of information flows in. So how do you break that clutter is also a
So who are
challenge.
these communities? Who comprises of this particular community where you interact? Is
So
it
I am part
moms? Is it
so startup entrepreneurship related communities, that is
nice?
one. Women
Nice.
specific communities, that is two. I am not on the communities that have my friends and families. It gets a little difficult to kind of promote there and do any sort of coaching with them, especially when it comes to
Hmm.
the paid thing. But yeah, my communities are on the lines of HR, entrepreneurship, and women specific communities.
Very nice, Ruchika. I'm so glad to hear that. Actually, you know the simple rule of thumb, if you want to know of about promoting on communities, is 3:1. 3 times share content that is relevant and related to them, right? And 1 time you can put up your promotion. I think typically, if you follow that rule, even for your Insta post, guys, and for LinkedIn, that works beautifully and wonderfully, right? The community actually that I'm trying to talk about is an offline community. Guys, this is something I tested for myself in my journey, because I wanted a playground, right? I wanted to be able to test my ideas. I wanted to be able to talk about, what I feel passionately about, whether it is about judgments or, other things, and see how people react. Okay. So I created actually two test pools, cesspools, or two communities for myself. One, I created a community of women in my building. Okay. I got them together to say, hey, let's have a safe space where we can talk about anything we want. And now that community actually has been active for about 3 months. We meet. This is the fourth. In fact, today evening is the fourth meeting. We meet only once a month. We are about 25, 28 of us. And I moderate the community in the discussion so that it does not fall off topic. Okay. But this community acts as a great bouncing board of ideas for me, for developing content and for sorting out my own thoughts on so many issues that we deal with clients, right? So many times the issues that we deal with, we think and we process, and then we need to have at least some plan ready for them, especially if you're conducting group sessions. You want to know how people will react to various topics. So I will highly encourage everyone to create communities. The second community that I created is of teenage students, um, with my son's group. They're all between 12 to 15-year-olds. And actually, we come together and we work on various life coaching topics, if I can say that. Like at one time, we worked on Ikigai for teens. Sometimes we take a book and we talk about it. We obviously did a session on decoding screen addiction and other types of addiction. And that community also I meet once a week. So yes, online communities are great for promoting. You can follow the rule of 3:1, 3 times share relevant content to them, 1 time promote yourself. But offline communities will really get you entrenched into, like, it's like grounding yourself. You know exactly what the ground is, what the people are thinking, what are they saying, how are they feeling, and you can be very, very, um,